Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat at 2047 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is commemorated as International Day for Disaster Reduction on 13th October every year. Total disaster costs now exceed $2.3 trillion annually when indirect and ecosystem impacts are included. Most flood-related deaths are economic losses are recorded in Asia. The number of recorded droughts has increased by 29% over the past 20 years. Average annual losses from tropical cyclones alone are estimated at US dollars 119.5 billion. So fund resilience, not disasters. The rising cost of disasters reflect the growing impact of climate change and poor development choices. Globally, countries face increasingly severe natural events driven by extreme weather and risk-blind planning. While direct disaster costs each reach around $202 billion annually, the broader economic impact is estimated at 2.3 trillion. Developing nations suffer the most, while wealthier countries face high financial losses. Despite this, investment in disaster risk reduction, in short known as DRR, means minimum less than 1% of public budgets are allocated to DRR, and only 2% of official development assistance projects, including DRR goals between 2019 and 2023. Humanitarian funding for preparedness is also declining. So a major issue is that both public and private economic strategies often ignore disaster risk. The private sector, which controls 75% of investments, frequently overlooks climate threats, increasing vulnerability and potential losses. To address this, national strategies must integrate DRR and climate adaptation. Government should empower the private sector with regulations, risk data, and incentives to promote resilient investments. The 2025 International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction calls for two actions: increase funding for DRR in public and international budgets, and ensure all development and private investments are risk-informed and resilient. So the key messages for the day are: disasters are a growing threat to economic prosperity and sustainable development. With costs underestimated and unsustainable, disaster costs are pushing countries into spirals of increased debt, lower incomes, increased insurability, and repeated humanitarian crisis. Declining international assistance makes it even more critical to reduce disaster loss through disaster risk reduction investments. Cutting funding for disaster risk reduction leads to more expensive disasters in the future, along with more humanitarian needs. To reduce disaster costs, countries and must increase funding for disaster risk reduction and ensure all development investments are risk informed. So the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction was started in 1989 after a call by the United Nations General Assembly for a day to promote global culture of risk awareness and disaster reduction. Held every 13th October, the day celebrates how people and communities around the world are reducing their exposure to disasters and raising awareness about the importance of reining in the risks they face. In 2015, the third UN World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Sendai, Japan, the international community was reminded that disasters hit hardest at the local level with the potential to cause loss of life and great social and economic upheaval. Sudden onset disasters replace millions of people every year. Disasters, many of which are exacerbated by climate change, have a negative impact on investment in sustainable development and the desired outcomes. It is also at the local level that capacities need to be strengthened urgently. The Sendai framework for disaster reduction is people focused and the action oriented in its approach to disaster risk reduction and applies to the risk of small scale and large scale disasters caused by man made or natural hazards, as well as related environment, technological, and biological hazards and risks. Over a year after the UN Secretary General's calls to action and extreme heat, countries are implementing strategies to build heat resilience. UN agencies, including UNDRR, are collaborating with government in scale up resource responses. Kamal Kishore, UN Secretary General Special Representation for Disaster Risk Reduction, highlights 10 impactful actions such as heat action plans and climate aware urban planning. Today is also commemorated as World Thrombosis Day, which is observed by the entire world on October 13. The International Society on Thrombosis and Hemostasis created the World Thrombosis Day campaign in 2014 to bring awareness to the frequently disregarded and misunderstood condition of thrombosis. Globally, thrombosis-related disorders cause 1 in every 4 deaths, and astonishingly, blood clots affect up to 9 lakh people in the United States alone. Each year, about 1 lakh of them will pass away, which is greater than the total annual death toll from AIDS, breast cancer, and automobile accidents. As scientists, researchers, and healthcare professionals, you are aware that the heart attack, stroke, and venous thromboembolism are the top 3 causes of cardiovascular death worldwide. Thrombosis is the most common disease causing these events. Many of these deaths can be prevented, though thrombosis is a medical disorder that occurs when blood clots clog blood vessels. Venous thrombosis and arterial thrombosis are 2 forms of thrombosis. When a blood clot stops a vein, this is known as venous thrombosis. When a blood clot plugs an artery, this is referred to as arterial thrombosis. Thrombosis affects up to 9 lakh people in the US alone each year. Many people who has venous thrombosis will have long-term consequences. Some of these symptoms include swelling, discomfort, and skin discoloration. Each year, up to 1 lakh individuals in the US die as a result of thrombosis. On a worldwide scale, on 1 in every 4 people dies as a result of thrombosis-related illness. The first World Thrombosis Day will be held on October 13, 2014 to raise awareness of this critical health concern. World Thrombosis Day is an educational project led by the International Society on Thrombosis and Hemostasis, ISTH, and overseen by prominent medical and public health specialists to lower the considerable illness burden caused by thrombosis. The goal of World Thrombosis Day is to raise awareness of thrombosis, including its causes, risk factors, signs and symptoms, and evidence-based prevention and treatment. Finally, the effort aims to minimize the number of people who die or disabled as a result of condition. The World Thrombosis Day mission supports the World Health Assembly worldwide goal of lowering non-communicable disease-related premature deaths by 25% by 2025, as well as the World Health Organization Global Action Plan for Non-Communicable Disease Prevention and Control between 2013 and 2020. The awareness ribbon color for blood clots, especially DVT, is deep red. The color of the P awareness ribbon is red and white when combined. Anything that prevents your blood from flowing or clotting properly might cause a blood clot. DVT is mostly caused by damage to a vein caused by surgery or trauma, as well as inflammation caused by infection or injury. So deep vein thrombosis is more common in adults over the age of 50. It is also more prevalent in those who are overweight or obese, or if you are pregnant, or in the first 6 weeks after giving birth. Today is also commemorated as International Civility for the Girl Child Day on October 30th to honor, promote, support a girl's right to mark her own decisions. It is a celebration of the wisdom, tenacity, and intellect of girls who are fully capable of making their own choices. Just as boys their age are, the day promotes girls to follow golden rule and achieve whatever they want in life. Brought into existence by American civility expert Lauzia Ocasio in 2020, this day motivates us to fight for a world in which girls have the liberty and civility to whatever they want to do in life. Today is also commemorated as International Day for Failure, which is celebrated with much zeal and learning around the world on October 30th. Aalto University in Finland has something to do with the creation of International Day for Failure. It may be strange, even ironic, for a country like Finland, in whose culture failure is not the norm, to have initiated the idea of a day solely dedicated to celebrate the failure. If they could embrace it, we can see no reason why the rest of us can't. The studies reasoned that Finland needed an increase in small startup businesses, but the typical Finn abhors failure and would be averse to startups. The fear of failing and the stigma that may follow discouraged many potential Finnish entrepreneurs from venturing. Hence, the idea of creating a day to celebrate failure, which they believe would in turn remove phobia for taking risks, invariably increases the number of startups. The first day was celebrated in 2010 by a group of students in Finland, and by the time the second event was to held, it has already begun to gain huge media coverage and support from influential Finnish people and companies. So much so that by third year, the group of students has organized an expansion of the event to celebrate the Finland Day of Failure to around 17 other countries. They also had huge support from Nokia's chair of the board of directors, Joma Olilia, and Angry Birds creator, Peter Westerback. Even now, events held around the celebrating the day serve as a platforms for popular Finnish personalities to share their stories of their defeats that later turned into wins. The idea around the day is to spread the argument that making mistakes and failing is normal and even an invaluable part of the person's growth and eventual success. International Day for Failure encourages people to try new and daring things, motivates and inspires others to succeed through sharing stories of successful people, their failures on the way up. Today is also commemorated as International Skeptics Day in the world. Like most things, skepticism is good in moderation, but today, go ahead and question some of your beliefs. The investigation of your assumptions can be beautiful and worthwhile. Research thus far has not revealed in inaugural year of recognizing International Skeptics Day, nor does skepticism itself follow a clear timeline that would be punctuated by specific events. But as a paradigm which in, within which to operate, skepticism shows no loss of momentum. With periodicals like The Skeptic and Skeptical Inquirer still in print along with podcasts, TV documentaries, and meetup groups all over the world. The doubting Thomas who is reading these words should have no trouble finding like-minded people, whatever his or her current location. The word skeptic comes from the Greek word skepsis, meaning investigation. The skeptics in the ancient period were actually individuals comprising a school of thought in the literal sense of the phrase. The ultimate goal was a life without belief in written arguments. A skeptic would often be found debating with a Stoic or Cynic or Epicurean interlocutors whose main function in the writing would be elicit the opinions of the skeptic for all to read. In the modern day, skepticism is considered a sign of intelligence because it indicates a desire to get the real truth. But skepticism is an individual can also stem from feeling of insufficiency on their part. The girl is asking me out for a dubious reason. She just wants something. Day is also commemorated as International Day of Respect for Cultural Diversity on October 13th. In Argentina, commemorates the diversity of Native Americans and Europeans. In the other areas of the world, it is commemorated on the same day as Columbus Day. In Argentina, the festival is currently called the Day of Cultural Diversity, Respect. It is commonly observed on the second Monday of October. However, some nations such as Venezuela and Chile observed it on October 12th, while Colombia observed it on October 17th, even though it is the same festival. The name change and departure from the original date may reflect the fact that certain indigenous people may regard Columbus and Europeans as a bad occurrence. Today is also commemorated as Lotu Etamati in Samoa, which is a national holiday celebrated on the Monday after the second Sunday of October. And this year it falls on October 13th. It honors children and has been observed by Samoan islanders since the 19th century. This day is usually marked by services centered on children. Children wear white and sing previously prepared hymns and plays on this day. Today is also commemorated as National Heritage Day in Turks and Caicos in United Kingdom, celebrated every second Monday of October. And this year it falls on October 13th. It honors the history and culture of the islands. This day is part of the National Heritage Month, usually celebrated with festivities across the island. It replaced the now absolute Columbus Day in 2014. Today is also commemorated as National Heroes Day of Bahamas in Bahamas every second Monday in October to honor individuals who, through personal achievements and initiatives, have contributed to the growth and development of the Bahamas. This year it will be observed on October 13th. While the honors and speeches end on this day, the festivities celebrations may extend to an entire week. Today is also commemorated as Indigenous Peoples Day in US, second Monday of October on October 13th this year to honor the cultures and histories of Native American people. The day is centered around reflecting on their tribal roots and tragic stories that hurt but strengthened their communities. The first seed of Indigenous Peoples Day was planted at the UN International Conference on Discrimination in 1977. The first state to recognize the day was South Dakota. In 1989, Berkeley, California, and Santa Cruz followed suit. Although the day was still considered Columbus Day up to 1937, many people began calling it Indigenous Peoples Day to celebrate the rich culture and the lives of Native American people. It is also commemorated as National M&M Day in US. Adults feel nostalgic eating them and they won't melt in your hand, just in your mouth. It's National M&M Day, so get ready to celebrate. Created in 1941. This iconic candy has been staple for over 75 years. Today is also commemorated as National Native American Day in US. On the second Monday of October each year honors the traditions and accomplishments of the various Native American tribes. This year, it takes place on October 13th. It is observed in South Dakota, celebrated on different dates in California, Nevada, Tennessee, and Washington, and is gaining popularity in the rest of the country. Traditional dances, art exhibitions, and ceremonies are part of the celebration. The celebration focuses on culture, traditions, and history of tribes across country. Each distinct nation has its own set of customs, rituals, and beliefs. Today is also commemorated as National Online Bank Day in US on October 13th. So today, we are celebrating National Online Bank Day on October 13. Falling on October 13th, as business increasingly go online, it's no surprise that banking too is following suit. Today, almost every business and every bank has an online presence. We owe much to online banking and technology for the ease we now enjoy in banking service. So no more enduring long queues or waiting for days to receive or send money from paying and receiving bill payments to insurance and investments. Virtually everything now can be done online and comfort of one's own bedroom. Today is also commemorated as National Train Your Brain Day on October 13th. Raises awareness for the power of mind and potential benefits of positive mental health training. One music in a human body cannot permanently taken away from someone. It has impact on everything they do and shapes how they are especially see the world. Though it isn't a muscle, in reality it is nevertheless much more potent than the strongest muscle in the body. People can become ill or well or by using their minds. People can maybe a sense of paranoia and decide in other people's actions or as a result of this. Or they may simply be able to notice how others are coping with life. Still, everyone is aware that this day was designated specifically for everyone to exercise and grow their brain while learning new things, while the power and ability of this day possess it has potential to impact a large number of lives. This day was developed to urge everyone to use more of their brain's potential capacity by expanding and exercising. The importance of brain exercise cannot be overstated. Routine, routine tasks, data, or it is indisputable that a mind is a strong tool and weapon, whether one views it as a capacity to come up with innovative new ideas, solve math equations, and construct towering structures, or as the ability to affect people's feelings and thoughts about themselves and others. People deliberately train their brains every day, teaching them how to react to events, telling them what they are capable of, and even determining how to interrupt others. So, reading word puzzles, number games, brain teasers, trivia games, riddles, and the word games are all good activities to work out your mind and develop your cognitive skills. Even simply, something new is beneficial. Reading word puzzles, number games, brain teasers, trivia games, riddles, and word gamers are all good activities to work out your mind and develop your cognitive skills. Even simply learning something new is a beneficial workout for everyone's brain. Today is also commemorated as Indigenous Peoples Day on October 30th. It is the second Monday of October on October 13th to honor cultures and histories of Native American people. This day is centered around the reflection of their tribal roots and the tragic stories that hurt but strengthen their community. There is also commemorated as National Kick Butt Day in US, which is a day to take action. If there is a bad habit that you wanted to kick the butt or a resolution you made had trouble following through, well, on National Kick Butt Day, you can change all that, says the day, and take a little step towards fulfilling your goals. National Kick Butt Day is celebrated all across the nation on second Monday of October. Good thing it is because of us have something that we have been putting off. Today is also commemorated as Herpes Awareness Day on October 13th, which is an opportunity to raise awareness around the causes, risks, and treatment of different types of herpes infections, particularly National Herpes Day or National Herpes Awareness Day is sponsored by Femiclear, a brand that has launched a new over-the-counter genital herpes symptoms relief product that has been shown to kill 99% of the herpes simplex 1 and 2 viruses in laboratory tests. So in fact, in a test, women experience a genital herpes. Today is also commemorated as Health and Sports Day in Japan on October 13th. That is on second Monday of October every year. This year it falls on October 13th. The aim is to promote sports and an active lifestyle to ensuring a healthy mind and body, and it commemorates the opening of 1964 Supreme Court Olympics held in Tokyo. This day is used by many Today is also commemorated as English Language Day on October 13. Each language day is celebrated on October 13 to commemorate the day Parliament was opened for the first time by the speech of inaugural in English in 1362 rather than in French. They also celebrates the universality of the language and how it has evolved over the centuries. Scholars and the day also celebrates that the universality of the language and how it has evolved over the centuries. And scholars believe that there is no true version of the language. It's over 7,000 variations of English can be found in the world right now. English has also cropped up many words from other languages. Other than speech, English has also become there is also commemorated as Columbus Day in US, celebrated on October 13th, commemorating the landing of Christopher Columbus in America in 1492. Over the last few decades, however, this contract has faced serious controversy due to Christopher Columbus' various horrific acts against Native Americans throughout his life as an explorer. Besides of this, many pieces. Today is also commemorated as National No Bra Day. The moment we get home from workday, today is not just about comfort, which falls in the right of the Middle Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's a time for women and men to learn more about breast health, and it helps remind people that the breast cancer is a potentially fatal disease, but also highly detectable and treatable. So today is commemorated as Breast Cancer Awareness Day in US on October 13th. Is a time to gain and spread knowledge of what sufferers are up against and how society can help. Materialistic means or metastatic means that what began as a case of early stage breast cancer has metastasized or spread to other organs, lungs, bones, etc., outside the breast, and it is how considered with a stage 4 cancer. At this point, the only care option is to treat advanced cancer and its side effects, including anxiety. There is no cure for metastatic breast cancer as of this writing. Treatments may include surgeries and chemotherapy as well as possible clinical trials of new drugs, which along with other palliative care can improve quality of life and lengthen lifespan itself. Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day is part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month and presents an opportunity for us to increase awareness and visibility for those who are campaigning and fighting for scientific advances. So this week is also commemorated as Digital Parenting Week from October 13th to 17th in United Kingdom. Digital Parenting Week alternates between the second and fourth week of October, and this year it takes place from October 13th to 17th. This week has been set apart to appreciate parents for their special and important roles in their children's upbringing, and the internet has made parenting much more complex for guardians, and therefore this event seeks to encourage good parenting through resources and aid the digital well-being of the children. With rapid advancements in information and technology, there is no need for the parents to monitor, moderate, and guide children to the use of internet. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us in today's celebrations and commemorations. I request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls before you leave the platform. So see you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link. Different celebrations and commemorations. Take care. Good night.